Don't think you're here to listen to a sermon, so I'm gonna make it quick. And I just want to thank everybody again for this wonderful evening. I hope you had a great time with your spouse and enjoying the company of each other and your friends here tonight. The theme for the evening is tightening the knot. You know, when we get married, we call it, we're tying the knot. And someone has said here earlier that marriage is it's a lifetime commitment, right? And during the introduction, I don't feel so equipped to share how we could tighten the knot, especially we have in the house couple who have been married even before I was born. And so we could learn a lot from them. And you know what? Like any other relationship, marriage requires regular checkups, regular maintenance, because over time, if the couple or the two of them are not careful, the bliss in the marriage may be a thing of the past. And I want to share this honestly. If I had known that marriage could be this good, I should have forced myself to get married at 16. I married a wonderful woman.
Thank you.
And it's been a blessing. Our life has been wonderful. You know, as Christian, we should not let the joy or the happiness of marriage pass away. And unfortunately, some factors that can affect marriage, such as jobs, children, other relatives, our friends from our Canadian friends probably don't feel such an impact, but in the Filipino community, sometimes we have extended family living with us for, an extended amount of time. And this is actually a true story that happened many years in Los Angeles. The Department of Housing raided a one-bedroom apartment because there were 15 people living in that one-bedroom apartment. So, and those things can truly affect the camaraderie at home. And sometimes, there's a lack of intimacy within a marriage. People oftentimes don't admit that their marriage is not as exciting as it used to be. We tend to kind of live life as if, everything's okay. We got accustomed to it. The bliss of the marriage lasted only 3 days after the wedding. And it should not be. God's design for marriage is a lifetime commitment. And I want to show you a picture of someone who he said, marriage is a wonderful thing. If you could just look at that, this guy says, being married isn't stressful at all. That's Jim, and he's 31 years old. Right? Or how about this anonymous quote who said about marriage? It says, marriage is a walk in the park. Jurassic Park, that is. How is your marriage? How is life today? I met many couples that have been married for over 20 years, and it may appear that all is well in the house until you get to the bottom of it. There was one time we were having dinner with a couple, and the wife said to the husband, says, honey, how come you don't say I love you to me anymore? And the husband says, you know what? My word is as strong as oak. I told you when we get married, I love you, and that's for forever. With what is going on around us today, it is important that we tighten the knot in our marriage, or else we may regret it. We have a good friend in San Francisco. They came to our church when we started the ministry there, And we bonded right away because, like us, they also have 3 boys. And we have just known them for a few days. And at Christmas Eve, of all dates, Christmas Eve, the wife phoned us at home. And she was just crying. And it's because for the countless of times she discovered the husband had another affair. And because we were friends, so we got to counsel the husband. And he was just, to him, it was just like he had done it so many times. He says, oh, she's going to forgive me again and everything's going to be okay. And so I told him, I says, you know what? One day you will regret this. The wife was a nurse. He's into business. He starts a business and it falls down. The wife would always bail him out. And I said, you need to straighten up, or one day you will wake up. Everything that you built together as husbands and wife will be gone. And so there was a point in time that the wife just could not bear it. You know, how would you feel if in the middle of the night you get a phone call from somebody collecting money from you because your husband had borrowed money from somebody and made you as the collateral? And so it came to a point that the wife finally decided to have a divorce, and the husband was left with nothing, all regrets. Genesis chapter 2 is a story of how God created husbands and wife. And we all know the story of Adam and Eve. You know, when God created everything, everything was good. When He created the light, it was good. When He created the heavens and the earth, it was good. When He created the animals, it was good. He created Adam, it was good. And then one day, the first negative statement in the Bible was this: it is not good for man to be alone. And so, to summarize Genesis chapter 2, starting from verses 21 all the way to 25, God made Adam to fall asleep, and He took a piece of his rib, you know the story, right? He created Eve and presented her to Adam. It was the first, in the wedding where the father would walk the wife, or the future wife. It was the first marriage in the garden, and it was beautiful. And I like the New Living Translation, verse 23, where Adam screamed with joy, says, at last. And he called Eve woman. Everybody familiar with that? Right? Because this is how Adam, when he woke up and he saw Eve, he shouted with joy and says, wow, man! So from then on, you're called woman. There's a wow factor every time you see the woman. And believe it or not, every time I see my wife, even waking up in the morning, in my heart I says, wow, man, I'm the luckiest man alive. I want to just offer 4 quick things to make our marriage strong and continue to be blissful. And with all honesty, how we felt during our honeymoon is how we felt today. And it's because of the love of God. So, here are 4 things I want to share with you. If you want to just take a picture of it, talk it over with your husband or your wife later on. Number 1 is this: keep God always at the center of your marriage. God should not be option B, option C, or option D. If you look back in the garden, God created Adam. God made Adam to sleep. God created Eve. God solemnized their wedding. God was in everything that they do. And if you do that, if God is at the center of your marriage, everything is going to be okay. To some, this is such a cliche. But you know, it's true. You take God out of your marriage, one day you will find you don't have a foundation when you go on a difficult journey. So, God was involved in the whole process. Make Him the center of your life. What does that mean? Go to church together, pray together, read the Bible together, and encourage one another. Right? We can remember that one. Number 2 is this. Do fun things together. Okay? I know some of us, you like to go to the city, but I don't think you do fun things together. In my life, I have sisters, I got cousins. When we go to a city, when we go to the mall, they are the ones having fun. I mean, or when we go to the ball game, I'm the one having fun, not them. So, verse 23, this is what Adam says. At last, he was rejoicing when he saw Eve. So the problem nowadays is that men got excited the first time they met their future wife. And then the morning after the wedding, it just starts to go downhill. Now, this is actually a true story. Okay, I'm not going to mention name in case you will find them up on our Facebook friends list. So, these are actually close friends with my wife. The guy is good looking, assistant pastor. The wife, well, let's just say she's not Miss Universe quality. Let's just put it that way. But she's a great singer. Okay? So, when they get married, everybody was wondering why he chose her. He's so handsome, he could find Miss Universe. But they were so in love. And maybe, number 2, does not apply to them anymore. And then one day, a wife was sleeping, and the husband woke up and looked at his wife, nods her a little bit, and says, "Honey, can you sing me a song?" Do fun things together. My wife and I, we like to surprise each other. And doing fun things together doesn't mean it has to be expensive. We could make something out from Dollarama and make it really, really exciting. Just fun thing. We don't have to wait for her birthday or anniversary, but we like it. We just slip something. It's like 3 Ferrero Rochers, all of those things. We just love to surprise each other. We're like little kids. In our home, laughter is a staple. There's not a single day where there's laughter. So if I walk in front of you and I started to fart, well, that's from laughter. Okay? I belted gas all the way there. I'm not ashamed to tell you that. Guys, life is not about work every day. Sometimes we focus too much on our jobs. We forgot to work on our own marriage. Next to God, the best part of your life should be your family and your spouse. So do something fun. Maybe do biking in the middle of winter. I don't know if that's fun, right? Or just take selfies together. I'm not a dancer by any means, right? Whoever invented dancing, Lord have mercy on him or her. So one day he played soft music. My wife, "Come on, honey, let's dance. And I said, "I'm not a good dancer, but because I love her, she wanted, and so we kind of start dancing, doing a move, and maybe just a few seconds, and my wife said, "You know what? Just sit down." But for a few seconds, we have fun. We laugh at even just small things from YouTube or Facebook. But we don't like to do the same routine over and over again. Just surprise someone. The last 12 months, we discovered a new hobby, making T-shirts. And we surprised one another with a funny design. So life is not at work every day. If you must work, Work on your marriage. Make it lovely. Make it beautiful. Compliment more and criticize less. You are a team. You're not opposite teams. So compliment more. Compliment cooking. Okay? So do fun things together. Number 3, I'm almost done. The grass is greener at home. Never believe the hype that the grass is greener somewhere else. Right? So, verse 23, this is what Adam said. This is bone from my bone and flesh from my flesh. So what I mean by that, appreciate what you have. And stop comparing your wife to others. Or stop comparing your husband to others. Justin Bieber is already taken. Okay? So, learn to appreciate and always be truthful with one another. Remember, I said compliment. Say, I love you always. Be forgiving with one another as Christ forgave you. Don't dwell on the past issues. Don't count. Instead, count your blessings and look forward to the future. Look forward to the future. You have a bright future. Be helpmates and look for ways to help and encourage one another. Here's another confession. Since, I met my wife, since I proposed to her and we got married, I never asked my wife to do something for me. Not even cooking, not even laundry or anything. If there's something that I have to ask, it's part of the ministry where she's a secretary, it's different. But between us as husbands and wife, never asked her to do something. Because when I get married, I wasn't looking for somebody to love me. I was looking for someone to love and pour out my life upon her. So never, not a single day, says, can you do this? Oh, I take that back. Last week, I asked her to scratch my back because I can't reach it. And I do the same for her also. Whenever I ask her to cook me something or do me something or clean the house or do laundry or anything like that, I feel it's our task together. And how many times we failed on this, right? If somebody would compliment, oh, you have a beautiful son, a beautiful daughter, we say, oh, that's my son, that's my daughter. But if they start pooping somewhere and making a mess of, oh, that's my wife's son or my wife's daughter, or my husband's son or my husband's daughter. Compliment each other. Now listen to this, right? The grass is greener at home. How your husband or your wife feels or looks like today, you got a lot to do with it. Think about it. Right? How, if you look at Jim earlier, at 31 years old, but looks like 70 years old, you got something to do with it. That's why I strive my best to maintain the beauty of my wife. I'm not going to mention her age. I'm not going to mention my age. But to me, she's always 16. You see, it's easy really to make your wife happy. Be truthful, be honest, communicate, hugs, kisses. So, let me summarize. Keep God at the center of your marriage. Do fun things together. The grass is greener at home. And then number 4 is everyone's favorite.
No more.
Huh? What? No more?
Fresh bread prescription, doctor.
God invented sex for the pleasure of husband and wife.
Only.
Yes. Sex outside the bond of marriage is not only sin, it is going to be disastrous. So do not ignore each other's need for intimacy. Selfie? And make sex pleasurable. This is not something that we should be embarrassed to talk about as husbands and wives. Look at the end of Genesis chapter 2. The Bible says, and the husband shall leave their mother and their father, and they become one. And at the very end, verse 25, they were both naked and they were not ashamed. To go on a date. Don't be ashamed to show your love and affection to people. Of course, there's, you can do that. You cannot do that during your work time. Like the saying goes, I know having sex, you should be concerned with one another, but don't do it in front of your house because the neighbors are watching. Do not ignore each other's intimacy. I don't know if it was Prince Albert or Prince Philip says, if you see a husband opening the door for the wife, it's either it's a brand new car or a brand new wife. But don't be ashamed to walk hand in hand together. Hugs. So husband, I'm going to close with this. Husbands, your wife, whether they will admit it or not, needs a caring touch. Your wife. They need the hug and kisses from you. Wives, listen to this. Your husband wants to feel honored and respected at home. That's what I want. They're honored. Don't take that manhood away from them. That you scold them in front of people, in front of kids. Honor and respect them. Now, in closing, let me share you a story. There's a couple in their mid-90s, almost to the late 90s. They went to McDonald's one day, the two of them. And as they were walking towards the restaurant, everybody's eyes were fixed on them because they were so cute. They were holding hands. So when they get to McDonald's, they were surprised. This couple ordered one hamburger, small fries, and a small Coke with only one straw. So they were amazed, looking at them while they're having dinner. The husband split that small hamburger equally. They slice it in the middle, equally for each other. Then he started counting the French fries and divided it equally between them. And so everybody's laughing this. It was so cute. But they noticed that it was the husband that's the first to eat and he's been eating. The wife just looks at them like this. And so everybody's concerned, maybe they don't have enough to buy meal. And one could not hold it anymore, approached their table and says, Ma'am, can I buy you another meal? And the wife, so while the husband is slowly eating his share of the burger, the wife looked at the young man and says, we're okay, this is fine for us. So he went back to his table, watched them again, and she just like that, looking at the husband, and he's eating the fry. So again, he came back and says, I really can't help it anymore. Let me buy you a meal. And the wife said, no, son, we're okay. And so he finally asked the question, then why are you not eating? And this is her response. Well, he's still using my dentures. They love each other that even their dentures, they're sharing it. Okay? So, husbands and wives, please don't let age fade away the bliss in your marriage. In Christ, it gets sweeter every day. And in my prayer to God that my hair will go gray, we'll get great kids, but together my wife and I will serve the Lord. So God bless you. I hope you have a wonderful marriage. We're praying for you. Love you guys.
I've heard. It's still intact.